What's going on, Mike? How are you doing? What's big with you on a Sunday? I haven't done a live again in a couple weeks, so I figured I better get one in. Cooling, sir. That's all right. How'd your trip go? Saw your videos. Looked like you had a good time. Hey, where's that protein?
The protein is downstairs. Yeah, downstairs.
Why don't you go grab that and we'll pop that in here too.
Okay. Once I finish putting them in here.
Doing a live is always a pain in the ass to figure out what you actually want to put in it. Today we put pretty much doubles, everything I have a double of.
Or triple.
Or triple we put up in here. Cali Guns, what's going on? All three of them are Chinese. One's a CGA, two are Norinkos. One of the Norinkos is a Type 26, and one's an Arsenal 36. Super rare Arsenal.
Okay, so I can. Go ahead and just grab the corner.
Yeah, just grab that. D-Dog sent us a video. Had a good time, a little family time, good sometimes. Absolutely it is. You got a Chinese 56? Yeah, hang on 1 minute here. We're putting one more gun in there. If you have a Chinese 56, you'll absolutely like what we're going to put in here. It was an afterthought, just trying to equal out the screen a little. I don't know what language that is, so I can't really talk to you, man. But I'll say hi, whatever language you're in. So what kind of, you got a SKS, Type 56 SKS, or you got an AK that's a 56? CKC, SKS. Yeah, here in a split second, I'm gonna black the screen out because we're gonna add one more. We're gonna add one more gun just to equal this out. So bear with. We're going dark for a second. Probably more because Mike's watching, so we'll add that for him. All right, you gotta move it over.
Okay. Closer?
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. There you go. That should all be in frame, I think.
Best it's gonna be.
Best it's gonna be. There you go. There's a Type 56 AK from Russia with Love. I appreciate it, man. I wish I could understand you a little bit better. Obviously, you're translating to English, so hope you're having a good day. Hope everything's going well for you. Twist a Gun, what's going on, man? How are you doing? What's big with you on a Sunday? Figured we'd do a double vision a day, so pretty much everything you see up there is a double or a triple. Yeah, there's two Berettas on there, man. There's, what is it? 1, 2, 3, fourth gun up. On the left-hand side is a Beretta 92 FS.
Next to the gold.
Chilling in a power outage. Oh, that kind of sucks. Did you have a bad storm or what? Kasim said hi. Hi, how are you doing? What's big with you?
Maybe either a big storm or I guess technically it would be the south side.
You want to clean the grill out real quick?
Actually, yeah.
Yep, you see 3 SKSs. Scheduled 10-hour outage. Well, you're going to have to explain now because that's That's new to me. Are you out in California or something, or where are you? That's crazy.
Yeah. Maybe to work on a power grid.
Nope, I don't have 30-round magazines for SKSs. Years ago, I used to do that. And honestly, at this point, if I want a firearm with a 30-round magazine, I'll run an AK or an AR or something. Um, I stopped modifying things like SKSs because it's an SKS. You get a nice SKS, the first thing you do is start changing all the characteristics about it, which, I mean, when I only had a few guns, it made sense. But now I have SKSs. That's what they're supposed to be, and that's what they are.
Yeah. Plus, over time, it also causes them to lose value.
Um, I would carry a Glock over a Beretta.
Oh, Canada?
Oh, you're in Canada. How come Canada has power outages? That's weird.
Yeah, my guess is probably working on a power grid.
Are you asking which one on the table is the most fun? Because that would be one of the two on the top, one of the checkmates. Yeah, the two checkmates on top are a lot of fun to shoot at the range. They get a little boring if you're just shooting paper targets, just sitting there, standing there, stationary, stagnant, shooting paper targets. But if you can move around and you have reactive targets, if you're shooting a competition or something like that, that's the way to go. Stifler, what's going on? How are you doing? Did a little double trouble today with the exception of a couple guns. Yeah, the top two are nice. They're expensive, but they're nice. There you go. Lipstein, how are you doing, man? It's been a little bit since I've seen you. Yeah, that's what you were saying. Today's the last day, right? It's a 50 BMG Cal guns. I live in a free state, so 50 is the way. But I have one Russian Bubba SKS. My Chinese only use 30-round mag pin to 5. Just looks cool, but I still have the original parts. Yeah, I mean, I think the first SKS I had, I put a fold-in stock on it, I put a compensator on it. I changed the rear dust cover and put a optic on it. Detachable 30-round magazine. A side fold-in stock. I don't know if I said that. And I don't know. You actually lose money in the long run doing that. There you go, Lipstein. Said I did all that work, and it was probably because ultimately I wanted an AK, and just at that time I couldn't afford one. So that was like a performance on a budget. I have 2 RPKs. I have 2 of them. Yeah, I only have so much room to put them up on here, but yeah, I have 2 RPKs. There you go, Travis. Yeah, if you guys haven't, make sure you double tap the screen if you're not subscribed to the channel. That stuff helps. Everybody right now is complaining about YouTube algorithms. For whatever reason, they really don't like 2A content. So, nope, I don't own any Kimbers. I have, and I always ended up selling them. Backyard Ranch View Collection. Not sure. This isn't even touching on what I own. It's just enough to fill up the screen for a live. Yeah, they usually are. Everything is hit and miss. Yep, I have 310-22s. No breakdowns, but just three 310-22s. One's built with a Adams and Bennett barrel, full Corstron trigger, some other goodies in there. One's bone stock, and one has a side folding AK crank conversion done to it. Am I crazy, or does the Glock above the purple Heritage Rough Rider look like a Glock 19 pistol grip on a 26 slide? Them are both 43Xs. There's two of them, one on the left, one on the right. They're both Glock 43Xs. Bravo 6 going dark. "223 DMR, how are you doing, man? How's your day going? Glad to see you. With anything, you got to give a budget. So, everybody has a budget somewhere in there. There's a point to where you're getting really good quality shotguns, and that's usually between like the $1,100 and $2,000 mark is where some of the better stuff lies. I have a Zastava M85, so I don't really have a use for a Draco. I already have that style. Cal Guns, it's a 22 long rifle. Yeah, Travis, it kind of depends on your price range. You can get a shotgun for less than a couple $100, all the way up. So it's not real hot right here right now. It rained all day, so it's like 72, 73 outside. But like by 8 o'clock, it's supposed to be up in the mid 80s. So it's going to get hot and humid here in just a little while. But that's all right. Shut everything off and open some windows, get some air in the house. Yeah, a good 1911's definitely a fun gun to have historically, and they're nice to shoot. You got a Rock Island 45. There you go. Cal Guns, I'm not sure what you're asking. Have one too. Oh, the 1911. Yeah, there you go. Yes, I have a Desert Eagle. Usually, I shouldn't say every time, but I put it out sometimes. There's some footage on the channel somewhere of shooting it. But yep, I have a Desert Eagle. I have an older one though. I've had it for a long time. Mine was actually still made in Israel, which they're slowly growing into desirable collector pieces. So they made good guns. Nope, don't have an M1 Grind. You got me on that one. I do have an M1A though. Just ordered a Canadian-made shotgun. It's a cross between the M2 and M4 shotguns. There you go. I don't really have something I could say would be a bug-out gun, right? I have things. Everybody thinks of a bug-out scenario as this is the end of the world and this is what I would take. I don't know that fits. It kind of depends on what the situation is or what the situation would be in order for me to say what I would want to grab. If it's something where I got to move through a crowd of people, it's going to be something small. If it's something where I can't come back home and I have a vehicle for transport, it'd be something different. So it kind of depends on what scenario a person would envision on what an appropriate firearm would be. But yeah, M14, the civilian version, is a M1A. Yeah, going to the range is always a lot of fun. It's fun shooting. It's fun getting better. It's a good release, especially if you have some anxiety or some stress. And it's a good mental skill. The M14s are full auto, so You can own them, but they're all pre-May of 1986, and they're, you know, 50, 60, 70, $80,000. It's not like a $2,000 firearm. But the M1As, depending on which one you want, they're anywhere from, you know, $1,400 to $3,500 for a good one. What about the pocket gun? The only thing I could ever think of is a Ruger LCP Max or a snub nose 38. I do have a little snubby 38. I have a little snubby 357 too, but it's heavy. Generally, my go-to carry gun is just a Glock 26. Real simple, plain, nothing fancy about it at all. Big O, how are you doing, man? Been a little bit since I chatted with you too. Jordan, you'd like to have that Beretta 87 Cheetah? Yeah, I've seen a lot of good things about them. Nope, I don't have anything with FRTs. I never got mine back from the ATF. I keep asking them about them, and they say, yeah, let's check into that. So not all FRT triggers were returned. So maybe once Rare Breed gets done suing everybody under the sun, there'll be some options to buy them again, and I'll pick some up. But it was a cool toy, but unless you had the 3 positions so you could run in semi-auto, it was just a toy. If you have the one that has a 3 position like a lot of them do now, that's where it's at. Because 99.9% of the time you're only ever going to run it in semi-auto. 7mm Perta, I'm not sure what that is. Yeah, that's a small collection. Only, I mean, this isn't all I own. But you're welcome to feel that way. If you notice, most everything here is a double. So, I think there's 3 SKSs there, but the shadow systems and the revolver on the bottom and the AK are all singles. But I have multiple AKs. Just only had so much room to put them. But if you look, everything's a double. Everything's a similar thing. How much Smith & Wesson small? I have no idea what you're trying to say. All 3 SKSs are Chinese. One's a CGA, one's a Arsenal 26, and one's a Arsenal 36. I appreciate it, Alex. If you guys haven't double tapped that screen, consider subscribing to the channel. Watch the videos. If you guys get into American history or not, we just spent a few days in Gettysburg. Got some cool videos from there. We got back from GunCon. We got some cool videos posted of that. Which will be a whole bunch more being posted over the next few weeks. I scheduled all of them out. So, box of chocolates? No, man. They're all airsoft. We can't have real guns in Wisconsin. You want a Yugo SKS? Them are pretty decent. I had one there. So I had a collector's grade when they first became available. They're nice. They're built very, very well. But with that grenade launcher and the flip-up sight, they're extremely muzzle heavy. So they look cooler. They look cooler than they actually shoot because of the weight. Yeah, the Barrett, or I'm not sure which one you're talking about. You talking about the pistols? Or are you talking about the Barrett? About to buy a Shadow 2. There you go. You'll like that. Box of Chocolates bought a Shadow 2 not that long ago. So if you're just buying it for a range toy, it may or may not be what you're looking for. But if you're into competition shooting, that's where it's at. Mother-in-law is visiting for a week. Glad to go back to work tomorrow. Oh, I bet. I bet. Moose elk. I can see that you're into steel frame guns more than polymer. No, I wouldn't say that. I like all guns, but if you look at what's up here, it's pretty much all doubles, right? So You know, I have 243X, I have 2 Glock 17s, and 2 of the rest. So the scope on the 50 is a Leupold Flux 4. I believe that's what it is. That's the standard issue scope that they put on Barrett's. It's the exact same. It's a deployment package rifle, so that was what was being sold to the U.S. military. So it's a mil-dot optical, 50 millimeter objective. I think it's a 1-inch tube. It's got an illuminated reticle. It's a nice scope. It holds zero. Works really well. Lets you definitely do some work. This man is just into guns. Period. Yeah, I like guns. I like all guns. She looks like Dog the Bounty Hunter. I'll send you a pic later. Dude, that's mean. But if you send me a pic later, I'll see if I can't overimpose it on one of like Dog's wanted posters or something. Utah Dad, what's going on? Do you have cleaning kits in the SKSs? In the butt stocks? I think so. I mean, I know at least 2 of the 3 do. I don't know if the last one does. They should. I had one sitting out on the bench, so I don't know if it ever got put back in there. You want smoke grenades? You ever hear of tacticalshit.com? Pay a snucka? If you go to tacticalshit.com, which I'm absolutely not promoting it in any way, but they have stuff like that. They actually have a mortar system that they're selling to civilians. It's a mortar, and they sell the projectiles for it. It's kind of badass. If I hadn't went to GunCon and Gettysburg, I would have probably bought that. But Paul Witt, I appreciate you. Like Little Utah Dad says, subscribe everyone. Appreciate that. Yeah, check it out. I wish I had a promotion code or something for you, but I don't. They get some pretty good deals on stuff from time to time, and some of the stuff not so much. But I just happen to know that they have the smoke grenades because I was looking at them for their mortar. But you should like that. You got a Glock 29 auto? Nope, I don't own a Glock 29. That's something I don't have. Lipstein, you should get a Glock 18C. I agree. I would absolutely very much like to have that. However, it's not really a legal civilian firearm, so that would probably get me in some shit. When you're getting the cleaning kit out, yes, I have. I mean, that's one of them things I think every new owner does is they get their fingers stuck in the back. Usually you only do it once though. Gerald, I appreciate you. Thanks for checking out the channel. Should buy the minigun. I absolutely agree with that too. But that's, again, it's not something that's easily transferable on the civilian market. And I don't even know what they would cost. I bet they'd be $250,000, $500,000, somewhere in there. I'm going from only shooting the Glock 26 to the Shadow 2, LOL. You'll like the Shadow 2. It'll take you a little getting used to. You know, the double action on them isn't great, but they're shootable. The single action on most of them are pretty decent. They got a pretty decent reset. It's a heavy gun. Now, if you're picturing in the back of your head that this gun is going to shoot perfectly flat and it's not going to have any recoil, it absolutely does. Yeah, it's different. Shed Owl, how are you doing, man? I'm glad to see you here. Checking in. Send them some love. There you go. I appreciate you, sir. Yeah, Twisted, it hurts. You know, that's something both my sons never had to experience because I've warned them about it. Grilled cheese, how are you doing? Appreciate you being here. How's your day going? So all three of them SKSs now, I bought them, right? But I bought two of them. I think the two on the left I bought for my sons. Then the one on the right is mine. It's like you said, you only do it once. There's a lot of things firearms related. You'll only make the mistake once. On to 2A, how are you doing, man? What's going on with you today? How's your day going? Yo, what's good, bro? How we feeling? I'm good, man. It's Sunday. I gotta go back to work tomorrow, which is gay, real fucking gay. But I just had a last week off. Actually, I had last Friday off, and I had a half day on Thursday last week or 2 weeks ago. So now I gotta go back to work. I appreciate it. I tried to do something a little different. We only put doubles out today. Well, mostly doubles. And we threw some ammo on the top, some different cartridges, just in case anybody was curious. Have all the guns from movie Terminator. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I think my favorite gun in Terminator was the lever action shotgun. I know Black Ace has made one like that. I don't recall what the actual original one was. I think it was a Remington or something. I don't really know. I guess I'm just lying.
The other reason for the ammo is for if anybody says that 50 rounds aren't that big.
Yeah, 50 BMG is not that big.
Or that call it 308 when they see it.
Yeah, that's another good one. A lot of people look at the 50 BMG rounds and always insist they're 308. So there's definitely, you think it was a Winchester 1887. CZ Tactical Sport 2. I have the CZ Tactical Sport 2 orange. It's right up there. It's the orange one. So if you're gonna buy the Tactical Sport, I would recommend spending a little extra and getting the orange. There's some pretty big differences between the two. The Tactical Sport is real similar to an orange Shadow 2. It's got a little bit longer barrel and slide. But the oranges are significantly different than the standard Tactical Sports. So you'd like it. It's a nice gun. They're right in the same price range as a Shadow 2. So it depends what you want to do with it. If you want to get into like competition with it, you're real limited on divisions, where Shadow 2, you can shoot more divisions. That one's to you. Oh yeah, 50 isn't that big. My brother's cousin's aunt's boyfriend has a 20 millimeter. I'll just be a troll for a second. There you go. Yeah, there ain't nothing to it. Have you seen the Urge lever action shotguns? I think they're called. No, I haven't. Gage is about to pull it up though. See if you can find it.
What?
Urge, ERGE, lever action.
Okay. Not much orange smoke. I'm sitting here with a tub of butter right now.
He's making toast with butter. No, minus the toast. He's just sitting there with the butter. I need a CZ SAD. They tool off the PO1 and the SPO1. They took it off the roster. PO1's a decent gun.
Oh, the EGE?
EGE.
Because that's what it comes up with for an autocorrect of it.
Find a... No, I haven't even taken it out of the box. So, I told Gage to figure it out while we were sitting here, and he's not. He's playing with that butter. Butter and a video game. I don't know what game he's playing, but that should give us a little better footage when we're shooting USPSA. You at least be able to see first person versus third person. I have a few.
it's the company is EGE or whatever it's meant to be.
What's a magazine fed lever action?
Some of
Is that
them.
what I see?
There's 6 different types right there.
Something like that would be fun in 9mm for Steel Challenge.
Yeah.
That could actually be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it would.
But too many people aren't going to.
We do have suppressor, or not, tracer rounds up there.
Yeah, there's 2 tracer rounds up there. 2 7.62 by 39 are up there.
Well, there's also pretty sure red 223 is as well.
No, them are polymer tip.
Oh.
Try to get it in focus here. I don't know if you can see that or not. Probably not. But there's two 7.62 by 39 tracers up there.
On top of the 250s that are also tracers.
Yeah, and then the two on the 50 BMG rounds, the silver and red are armor piercing century tracers. So there's 2 of them up there. I don't know how to say your name. Salam alaikum. But hi, how are you? Appreciate you showing up. Double tap the screen before you leave, and consider subscribing to the channel. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So the thing with suppressors and lever guns is they're quiet, so that would definitely have an advantage. I imagine one of them in 300 blackout.
Yeah.
So we had a chance at GunCon. We shot a 338 blackout.
Oh, it was a greetings, is all I can really see.
Hmm.
It says greetings and like them.
Oh, greetings. You were translating it.
Yeah. Or Indonesian, my bad.
Indonesian? That's Indonesian?
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't have thought that.
Yeah. I don't know why I was thinking Arab.
Max used to call me a Barrett 50 cal. Oh, I bet. She definitely liked the penetration then, huh? What's the snake thingy? What snake thingy? In the far back?
Oh.
The little snake thingy sitting in the far back was one of my kids made that in school. So when they bring their clay art home, I try real hard to make sure that that stuff survives. So I always put it someplace where it's kind of safe. Saw your shirt on the Shockwave, I believe it was. Wondering why they don't make a specific firearm like that just for short shells, the short action. Yeah, I don't know. I did find out, and we tried it, that my Benelli does not like the shorty shells. Does not. That locked that bitch up tight. So they don't make an orange SP01. I lost where I was. Yeah, Jason, they don't make an orange SP01. They make a Shadow 2 orange, and they make Tactical Sport 1s and 2s that were orange. But you don't have a SP01 orange. Look it up, Gage. Prove me wrong.
A what?
SP01 orange.
I think I've heard about that.
They have the red grip ones that were their equivalent to it, which was their competition. I have one of them. Hell yeah, mine was always thrown away.
Oh, yeah, it is a gun.
Is it a gun?
One Shadow Orange. It's the Shadow Orange.
Okay, well, I stand corrected, sir. I just learned something new. That's not current production, though, is it?
I don't know.
That's actually cheaper than what the SP01 competition was.
Huh.
Yeah, a couple $100 cheaper. Straight from CZ Custom. Yeah, I didn't know they made it, so I just learned something interesting. ZH, I'm not sure what always got thrown away. I probably missed your first comment there. Yeah, I've seen your short with that was a very interesting cartridge. The gold one is a Gerson. The Beretta next to it's actually Beretta, but that's a Gerson. Del Boy, yeah, I see that. I'm missing your comments, sorry. Feel free to send it again. I was kind of looking at that orange, SPO1 orange. Who makes what? The gold gun? That's Gersan. Gersan makes that. It's a Turkish Beretta licensed clone. So Gersan makes them under contract or under license from Beretta, and it's a both guns are obviously a NATO approved firearm.
That's why I didn't think that. I didn't know that you'd do.
Been thinking about trying the 8.6 Blackout or the 338. The 338 was interesting. So their claim to fame on that is it fits in a standard AR mags and receiver. We shot some subsonic and some supersonic, and it was impressive. They are both, all three are Chinese SKSs. One's a CGA, the other two, one's an Arsenal 26 and one's an Arsenal 36. The Arsenal 36 is pretty uncommon in the United States. It's not a very well-known arsenal for them to import. Like probably 90% of Chinese SKSs are all Arsenal 26. Let's see. 1 in 3 twist though. I'm not sure. What's 1 in 3 twist? I'm missing something. Can't even find the 338 Blackout.
Oh, it's pistol.
Oh, okay. Been thinking about Bear Creek 8.6. Seems like BCA is coming back strong.
Maybe.
BCA gets a lot of mixed reviews. Sometimes their products are spot on and sometimes not. I have a BCA AR9 barrel we've used. Arizona Kid, how are you doing? I need to get to your channel yet today. I haven't made it there yet. Figured I'd do that about bedtime. Figured we could sleep together. When I'm in bed naked, I'll watch your shorts. If that doesn't make it awkward enough, I'm sorry. That's about all I got. But Arizona Kid, like always, I'm glad to see you here. Ammo. If you guys haven't, obviously speaking, I think most of you guys are from here. Check out everybody else's channel. They all make content. They're all good people. Sorry, Arizona Kid. I couldn't resist the opportunity to make something weird. Adam, yes, I have a Desert Eagle. You gotta give people a chance to answer that. Yeah, the one and the only most persecuted channel on YouTube. But pretty much all gun creators, all gun content creators are heavily censored. That we had an opportunity to speak with a lot of different people at GunCon, and everybody said the same thing. Even the manufacturers, when we were talking, like, yeah, you got YouTube, and they just be like, oh man, how's it going for you? But what did I see? Colby passed it, ITC class with your 92 FS. There you go. There's nothing wrong with that. Cody, yeah, it was a good time. You know, we went under media passes, so we had a lot of benefits that other people wouldn't. Range day was a blast. It was hot, which kind of put a big damper on it because it was so hot that it was. I had to get out of the sun. Kid was cooking. But range day was cool. It was free. Lunch was free. Same with the show. We got in for free. We didn't have to wait in line. We got to skip the whole line. And lunch was free. What's the strongest gun you own? Probably 50 BMG. What optic do you run on the 50 cal? That's the Leupold Mark IV. That's the issued optic that came in deployment package. My Glock can bench 200 pounds. Oh, I bet. Probably stiff too. Only way my Glock is benching 200 pounds is if I slip in a little Magnum. Then it might handle that. Ammo, did you shoot today? Did you go shoot a pistol match? Working on a couple custom gun belts right now. Still haven't mailed you holsters for kids yet. No, that's all right. I mean, they said them were the ones they liked. What's that, Ammo? What? Did you shoot today? Did you go to a recognized firearms club and discharge high velocity copper lead cord jacket projectiles into paper?
Or steel.
Chris, are you calling me a noob? Yeah, Ammo, did your hair survive? We were kind of taking bets that it wouldn't. We figured Ammo was going to get a haircut one way or another. Hair singe, haircut, either way, it works. It's all the same in the end. I think Orange Smoke, we both checked out your channel for a little while you were live. But I didn't stay real long. I'm looking into getting a competition pistol for anything and everything on practice score. Any recommendations? Well, you would have to understand the different divisions and different games. You could get something like a Shadow 2 that would let you shoot PCSL or USPSA or ISPC. But IDPA, the gun wouldn't be legal.
No.
You could buy something, everything would probably be something in a polymer plastic, be it a Glock. I don't want to say this while puking, but a Canic, Smith & Wesson, that would let you shoot all them games, IDPA, USPSA, ISPC. If you really want to make sure all the games on practice score you can run the same gun in, because there's GSSF, which is Glock Sports Shoot Foundation. They hold matches too. So if you want one gun that would truly be across the board legal in every game, it would probably be a Glock, because then you could shoot the GSSF too. Yep, the SPO1 is legal in IDP carry optics. But now go back to his comment. He said everything on practice score. So you gotta wrap up everything on practice score, which would include that GSSF. Obviously, that's a Glock only game. It's almost the exact same as USPSA, IDPA, or PCSL, or any of the variants, but it's Glock only. So, Brooksdale Farm, how are you doing? I always got to look at your name twice and realize it's Mason.
Someone asked, do you think bullets are expensive in general?
If what?
Do you think bullets are expensive in general?
Just bullets?
He said bullets.
Depends on what kind of bullet you're buying. Let's see. Yeah, it's going good. Thoughts on Canic? My thoughts on Canic are interesting. So they have a great trigger, most of them, but I don't see the value in them like a lot of people do. There's other guns in the same price range that, in my opinion, just my opinion, shoot better. So we did play with Canic a couple times now for the sole purpose of being able to form an opinion based on experience and not just hearsay. But what I can say is I'm still not a fan. OFU, I commented on your Instagram, but I don't know if you saw it. I thought AK-47 was only a full auto variant of the rifle. Thought all semis. Nope, that's a AK. That's a true AK. It's a AK-47S, if you want to be specific. That's a People's Republic of China export AK-47. That's what it was imported under. That's what it's called. That's what it's marked. It's a true AK. I'm assuming for competition I need to rework the Glock or get something from. You don't need to rework a Glock. If you got something, I don't know, what is it, the 47 or the 17 or even a 19X, spend some time with the gun and get used to it. A lot of people run them with great success, and they're running a stock gun. Uh, the whole I need to work the gun, I need to improve this or improve that, you don't. You can be just as competitive with a stock gun as not. Now later on, when you start noticing the difference between, you know, a 5-pound trigger and a 2-pound trigger, then it's worth doing. But in the beginning, run a stock gun, get it out, shoot it, put rounds through it, and then form an opinion from that. So in that price range, that Rossi Martini,
You want to come through?
Glock, obviously, Smith and Wesson, you know, all the major brands have something similar. Rossi Martini, I think that is Martini or Martin, Rossi Martin.
I think that's what it is.
Rossi Martin. Them are pretty interesting guns. You're gonna see them if you want to get in on the ground floor of a firearm right now. Them Rossi Martins are where it's gonna be at. Give that gun another 2 years, and that's gonna be the pick of most people. And they're super affordable right now. Super affordable. Experience-based opinions. How dare you? Yeah, I would rather base on experience. So look it up. Is it Rossi
That's what I'm looking
Martini or Martin? I gotta look it up. I apologize. I don't exactly remember the exact last name of it. I appreciate it, ZH. After years of doing it, you get rid of them, and girls are no longer attractive to you, and you become holy fuck.
Huh?
Oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Hey man, you know, all CZ owners accept the fact that we have small PPs and everybody's gonna know. So.
You're looking for the website name? That's just Rossi.
No, it's not Rossi. It's that pistol, Rossi Martini,
Oh,
Rossi.
the pistol.
Yeah. Rossi Martin or something.
Or Ross Martin.
Ross Martin, that's what it is. ROSS.
ROST.
ROST. ROST Martin. Yeah, them were interesting. They, yeah, I'll let you guys do your research on that. It's a very interesting firearm. So they will definitely be picking up popularity wise. They come in significantly cheaper than everybody else, and they have all the things others don't. They have removable grip panels so you can change your grip. They have comp models. They all have decent sights. The triggers aren't bad. And you're talking, you know, a couple $100 less than a lot of other people for a gun that's worth probably twice what most other guns are. PO1 is your favorite. PO1's a nice gun. I like that size. We actually took my PCR out the other day and we were shooting that a little bit. They are a very comfortable firearm to use. A little bit snappy, you know, being a subcompact gun, they're definitely snappy, but they're nice. Had to get a Velcro man bun because of my bald spot. Huh. Velcro man bun. That's interesting. Is there any way to have a man bun and still look manly? Yeah, that's the gun, the Ross Martin. Looks really nice. Comp models is a very good price. Area well and shoot well in your experience. So I can't speak for reliability. I didn't have enough time with it, but I was impressed, very impressed with the firearm. It's got a great feel and it was accurate and it shot well. It was comfortable to shoot, had a good return. point of aim. If you have a man bun, you also have a cucumber in your pocket. Yeah, I guess I could see that. Are bullets expensive? Are you talking about cartridges, or are you talking about just the bullets? That's why I didn't answer that before. I'm not really sure what you're asking. If you're asking about the whole cartridge, or if you're asking about a bullet. I want to get some posts done by United Firearms LLC. Supports PO1 and optic mount. Yeah, I'd like to do that to my PCR too. Get an optics cut. Um, get a straight line, probably like 4 ports in the top, pop a holes. Just bullets. So they can be. That's just one part of a cartridge. So it depends on what type you're shooting, what caliber, uh, what the bullet is. If it's, just a full metal jacket or a polymer tip or something else in between there. My favorite 3 probably be mine, and it's a Arsenal 26. It's a Norinco import. So Norinco wasn't a manufacturer. A lot of people think Norinco was a firearms manufacturer. They weren't. It was just an import company. The Arsenal 26, and probably only because it's mine. I shoot it okay, but it's mine. I've had it a long time. Now, if you ask my son, Gage, which one of them 3 SKSs is your favorite?
Mine.
His. And if you ask my oldest which one of the 3 was his favorite, he'd say the same thing. He'd say his. If you have a gun and you have a gun, we can talk about the law. Okay. Thoughts on the FN reflex? They're okay. I don't know that I would buy one for myself, but they're cool. It's a cool concept. Have you tried the Vital grips for the CZ75s? No, I'm not familiar with them. Pull that up.
What?
The Vital grips.
Vital grips. Yeah,
So I either use, like on my one SPO one there, it's just a G10 grip. I don't even remember who the manufacturer is of that. Otherwise, generally lock grips. $30 on Amazon. But if I have a gun and you have a knife, I am the law. Yeah, that would make sense to me. Unless I have a knife that shoots. See?
It is a thing, actually.
It is a thing.
Just do that for CZ. I came up when I searched for CZ.
Well, the Helix. They're a little proud of them, though. They're expensive. Solid copper. They're cool looking. I'm not going to say they're not cool looking. They're cool. Made in St. Louis. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. On Point says, yeah, I shot the RM1s from Ross. A little snappy, but build quality is solid. I might have to pick one of those up. Yeah, I liked them too. Got to play with all of them. So. Ammo, Arizona kid wants to know what about if he has a bow and arrow. What is the handgun at the top with the light? Can we get a close-up? That is a Shadow Systems MR920P. I don't recall seeing a full size. I think they were all compact or subcompact, weren't they?
I think so.
Ross, yeah.
Unless we missed something.
Unless we missed something, which is possible. Let's see. Anthony Adams, sweet. The shadow system is pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie. We're a little over 7,000 rounds on it now this year. So far it's still reliable, still accurate, still reliable, no parts breakage, which is what it should be, right? Just turned 21. My first gun is a Glock 43 MOS. There you go. They check out the Radiant Ramjets. We had a chance to play with them too. They were actually released at GunCon, and that's a hell of a thing they built there. The Ramjets are spot on, man. I definitely need to be getting one. I've been sitting here all weekend thinking about ordering one, but I gotta wait. It was a very expensive trip. You want one of those 1911s? Well, there you go. Subscribe to the channel. You never know. You might get one some point. You just have to buy it yourself. If I am barehanded and you are barehanded, we can talk about theory. What if I'm naked? What if you're barehanded? I'm naked and covered in oil. Can we still talk? I bet you we can't. Are they real? Absolutely not. They're all fake. They're all photoshopped. Can you go from left to right on the bullets lined up? You want to just know the caliber? If you want to know the types too, I can tell you the types. But any good recommendations on a boot gun? Something small and probably in stainless steel. Otherwise, it'll corrode. My frame cracked on the Gen 319, so I might have to just pick up another polymer pistol. There you go. RXM over the Springfield. So left to right, 22 long rifle, 9mm, 45, 38 special, 357 Magnum, 223, 556, 762 by 39, 762, and 308. They look the same, but one's a 762 and one's a 308. The polymer tips are 308. There's 300 Winchester short mag and then 50 BMG. And for the 50 BMG, you have just a standard full metal jacket. You have an A-pit, which is a armor-piercing centered tracer, and then you have API, so armor-piercing centery, and then you have the Hornady AMAX. Air guns are becoming more and more practical. The technology on them is advancing pretty quick. So there's definitely a good place. Opinion on PSA Dagger looks. I would advise against the PSA Dagger if you're asking my opinion. There's better guns for same or even less money. And that's actually not even an opinion, that's based on my experience. So take that for what it is. The new M&P Bodyguard 2 would be a good boot gun. There you go. John Winks, how are you doing, man? How'd your day go? Yeah, we're live, man. We've been slacking. Like I told everybody 3 months ago that the first half of summer was going to be very, very busy for us. Now as we edge into the last part of summer, it's going to significantly slow down. We have just our normal matches and range days. No trips, nothing planned that way. No big sectional matches or area matches or nothing we're going to attend. So now it's just back to normal life, more or less.
Here, go this way. What?
So obviously John Winks, everybody's saying hi, what's up? I forgot, did I say 300 Winchester short mag? Did I forget that?
I think you did.
I forgot the 300 short mag. I'm sorry, man. Next to the 308 is the 300 Winchester short mag. If I forgot that, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I got distracted. ADD, shiny and squirrel.
There's
Pretty
a
good.
lot of shiny stuff on the table.
Yeah, there's a lot of shiny stuff on the table. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Next to the 50 BMG are 300 Winchester short mag. You can see, they're big fat bastards. I'll bring it up a little bit. That's a very, very impressive cartridge. Very, very impressive cartridge. Pretty good, sir. Shot 650 rounds in 9mm this week since I couldn't find 45 ammo. Yeah, might have to consider at some point reloading. I think you said you had limited space, but might have to consider it. Let's see. Arizona Kid, you bet John Leather Shop is picking up. That's righteous. When we get your holsters, we'll get them out and we'll do, kids will do some shooting with them. They actually had them with us this last weekend, just get a little practice on them. One of the guns in front of you, which is the one likely and most, one you dislike the most. The ones I dislike the most right now in current configuration would probably be the 43Xs, with a close tie to the Beretta style, for being left-handed. The 43X in current configuration sucks. Now, with Ramjet, that's a whole different firearm. That's a whole different ballpark of firearms. So, being I have two of them, there will be one getting built out with the Radian Ramjet parts. They'll get their magwell, and the Radian Ramjet comp and barrel, and then we can have a conversation, because that was a very, very impressive gun that would completely change my opinion about a 43X. Especially once you start reloading for it and you get the right cartridges, with lots of powder to really make that comp work. Godfather, you're getting the Ramjet and Magwell yourself. You should. They were nice, really, really nice firearms. Let me rephrase it. Really, really nice add-ons. Really, it changed the whole feel of the firearm. Made it actually, I mean, you're working with something with that. They nailed it. Metal engravings give no tactical advantage whatsoever. Define metal engravings. So, are you talking like front texturing, or are you talking about like the Gersan that's got the engraving work on there? Because clearly, a gold gun is all about tactical use only. I didn't say hi, so I'll say hi too, Big Chungus. And you guys come up with some great names. I think I'm going to get a DWX in the future. Do you think I could carry a DWX? The full size, I mean, you seem to not really care what you carry, so it's a nice gun. It's definitely something a person could carry. If you appendix carry it, it may be a little large when you sit down. It would definitely drive into your sack and probably into your stomach a little. I mean, obviously I'm fat. I'm not carrying anything appendix. In waistband, out waistband, absolutely you could carry it that way. Right-handed would be a little better than left-handed. Left-handed, you'd hit like door pillars and stuff getting in and out. But yeah, you could carry it. John, I occasionally carry a 6-inch 629 44 Meg, and it's all in the holster. There you go. Yeah, gold guns give you +3 on penis. So, maybe though, John, for similar money, check out the Alpha Foxtrot Romulus. Before you get completely set on a DWX, check it out, Alpha Foxtrot Romulus. It's actually, they're a little bit cheaper. They're about $400 cheaper than a DWX, and it's probably a little nicer gun. That's Alpha Foxtrot Romulus. I have no gun, so you Yes, you're stuck minus. We're all stuck -5. You know, it's okay. That's why we're here. This is Small Wieners Group. This is our support group, convincing everybody we are normal. Everybody else is just a freak of nature. Years ago, I took my kid to the zoo, and there was a big old fucking stallion there, and he was all stretched out. And my son looks at me, "Daddy, are you big like that too?" My wife said, "He only wishes." Uh, Gold-plated guns are a little overpriced. Yeah, I think you found that out, didn't you? You know, there's guns that you buy sometimes, um, just because they're cool, man. You know, Godfather, all my handguns are plain Jane, so I'm -10. Yeah, that's okay. Just remember, you're in it for you and not her. They're just along for the ride. If they can't figure out how to make it work for them, that's their fault. Once you see wear marks on gold-plated guns, it hurts your feelings. Absolutely, it does. But, I mean, we talked about it a little bit and kind of knew that was going to happen. You know, the gold-plated guns, they're commemorative. They're collector pieces. You know, they will definitely go up in value. Kind of sucks with the gold ones because you can't really take them out and play with them, right? It kind of hurts a little bit, but let's see. I like the wear marks on a Blue Colt 1911. There you go. Godfather, the moral of the story is don't watch Dirty Hair now before going to a gun show. Yeah, don't watch Dirty Hair. You really make you feel less. Top Guns, I don't see any Desert Eagles. Well, that's because you don't watch all the lives. If you watched all the lives or the channel, you would absolutely see a Desert Eagle. With the newer guns, how long would you say they take to clean the residue? Cleaning a barrel depends on what you're shooting through it and what kind of solvent you're using to clean it. Most frames and slides, depending on what you're using for lubricant, they spray off or wipe right off. But ammunition choice or ammunition selection definitely factors into how your barrel is going to be to clean. If you're shooting lead, it takes a lot more effort. If you're shooting a plated bullet, they're usually fairly easy. I'm sorry, not plated, powder coated bullet. Plated bullets will usually leave a little more copper versus a standard full metal jacket. Gasoline is dangerous. You got to use diesel. Diesel's the appropriate solvent of choice. Honestly, most AKs, especially the ones with the chrome lined barrels, they're super easy to clean. You wipe them out. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, add some more lube. But the barrels being chrome lined are super easy to clean. Same with ARs. If you have an AR with a chrome lined barrel, they're easy to clean. But most barrels nowadays they're not chrome lined, which is unfortunate. A lot of people have mixed feelings about a chrome lined barrel. Some people say it hurts accuracy, some say it doesn't. The way it's applied and the way it's the manufacturer who's doing it, it definitely makes a difference. Some of the most accurate rifles I had chrome lined barrels, and also some of the worst ones I've had chrome lined barrels. Godfather says he cleans his AK with a water hose to scare the neighbors. I mean, hopefully you're like pointing it at them too. You know, or you go out there and you gotta hold it up and look in the light. That's always a classic neighbor move. Let the neighbors see you looking down the barrel of your firearm. Yep, they love seeing that stuff. What's the little one? That we call Little Steve. It's a North American Arms 22. Glock 26 or RXM. I have a Glock 26, so I wouldn't replace my Glock 26 for an RXM. Doing it right now, Ruger makes good firearms. I would have no reservations at all of buying an RXM. He worried about the Deagle and you got a big 50. Yeah, it's funny, ain't it? Godfather, you have to use your neighbor's garden hose to establish dominance. Oh yeah, absolutely use your neighbor's garden hose. Um, if you clean your AK with their water hose, it's more effective. I agree with that. It would definitely do a better job. All three are Chinese. One's a CGA, one's a Arsenal 26, and one's a Arsenal 36. Peeing in their mailbox as you speak. That's perfect. Patriot Arms, what's going on, man? How'd the little one like its toy? Do it like the little crunchy thing? Is it crunching away on it? I had a chance to meet Patriot Arms at GunCon. I wish you would have been able to make it to range day, but hopefully next year. Yeah, like I said, you wouldn't be disappointed in RXM. Patriot Arms, he's got more experience than I do with RXM, so I'm sure he'll tell you whatever. But I don't think anybody's got anything bad to say about RXMs at all. I've yet to hear anything bad about them. The ones we played with were solid. They're okay shooters, you know. Ruger doesn't make bad firearms. A lot of their stuff is overbuilt, so just go inside their house and use the toilet. Yeah, toilet seat down though. Make sure you get a little on the seat. Don't ever lift that all the way up if you're using somebody else's bathroom. You guys know that, right? You go to somebody's house to use the bathroom, you leave the toilet seat down and just go for it. Yeah, there was two guys that were asked to leave. Johnny B, I can't remember who the other guy was, and then an attorney general from Arizona, I think. Nope, I don't have a Colt Python. They were asked to leave because of their feelings on transgender. There was some Instagram and some other social media that I guess was reviewed, and somebody had issues with that. So that even came from Johnny B, that he said that's why he was singled out, as he had Missouri. Thank you. They all had some posts that kind of said things that are not wrong, and people were offended. Freedom of speech doesn't really exist, especially when you are renting a facility from somebody that has the ultimate right to kick anybody out for any reason without justification. So, you know, to you and me and everyone else, number one, I don't disagree with anything anybody said that way. Number two, it was shitty, but they did sign off saying if they want people removed, they are to be removed. And who knows, maybe it was just this vendor showing their little 3-inch dick saying, I can do it. I just want you guys to know I can do it. But, you know, the fact that the fire marshals and shit showed up, I can attest to. We were standing there when they walked in. We were standing directly next to the fire marshal, as a matter of fact, when he was busting people's balls for having too many people in the facility. Colt. So Colt isn't really overpriced. They're very reasonably priced, or comparatively priced to other decent manufacturers. You know, there's not a big difference between Smith & Wesson and Colt. There's big differences between Taurus and Colt, or Rossi and Colt, or some of them, but for what you're buying, they're reasonably priced. AK-47 boss. Not sure what you're asking. My AK up there, you can't really put a price on that. That's a very, very rare collectible AK. It's actually one of the rarest ones that were imported. That's a first import from Prochin. There was a very, very small number of them brought in. Colts are better quality, better metal, better durability. Yeah, someone was just trying to flex, show that they had some power and authority. And there was anti-2A people that were trying to, shit in everybody's Cheerios. But do you think Taurus is getting better? Taurus goes in waves. What I will say about Taurus is they have good warranties, so sometimes their quality may not be the best, but they don't mess around fixing their stuff. They just make it right. So that's a plus. Some companies out there give you a hard time about repairs on firearms or warranty claims. Taurus, in my experience, has never done that. So bang for your buck. They have some great options for budget-minded people. So you take that for what it is. Abdullah, hello. I would put a Taurus in my pants. Well, before I would put a SIG in my pants, I can tell you that. I would definitely buy an ex-girlfriend or an ex-husband a Taurus. Or I would buy their new significant other, not a Taurus, I'm sorry, a SIG. A SIG should be remodeled as the gun you give your ex. Nothing says you care about somebody like giving them a SIG 320. Is that wrong? Taurus is moving in the right direction, but they stand by their product. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They stand by their products. Yeah, the 320 got somebody that's. I think the 320 gets somebody very, very frequently.
Probably daily.
You know. Save it in case you ever get divorced, John. Make sure the wife gets that one in a settlement.
Mm-hmm.
Then her new boyfriend or husband or whatever could have it. Leave an appendix holster too. Make sure your ex's new boyfriend or husband gets to carry a SIG 320 appendix, because that would make us all feel better. That part was too tight to engage. Yeah, no, that wasn't him. That was me. That's the German in me trying to get out, gas in the crowd. Germans are.
Does John Wanks have kids?
I'm not sure.
I mean, John Wanks, if you have kids and World War III were to happen and the draft comes back, you could just say that while you were at the range, it went off and shot him in the foot.
Not appropriate. What if I like an apple? 44 Magnum revolver. I do not currently own a 44 Magnum revolver. You carry a 365 X macro, hollow above balls all day. There you go. Patriot's working on his house while listening. Is that a real gun? Ramonda, yeah, I don't even know how to say your name. Yeah. No, they're fake. They're all water guns. All aboard. Who wants to go to summer camp? Let's see. Like SIG, but I heard the 226, 350, 365 on everybody. Yeah, the 226 is a classic, You got to give the 226 respect for what they are. I understand how they won the contract. My experience with them, it wasn't a gun that I enjoyed enough to ever want one, but they were good shooters. World War III will have Glock switches involved. Probably. I would say you're probably right. Would you say the gold Beretta clone is as good as the original Beretta, or what are your thoughts on? It's comparable. It's comparable. The Beretta has a little better trigger in it, but I think it's because the Beretta is older, and we've shot it. but virtually the exact same gun. They're most of the parts are interchangeable. Um, so I guess that's about all I can say about that without making something up. Um, they're okay. How you get a license, owning gun, and does that cost money? You don't need a license in my state to own a firearm. You need a license to carry a concealed weapon, but not to own it. You don't need it to own it, purchase it, or possess it. AK-47 from Soviet, 1947, product Russian in the Moscow city. You plan on getting a 226? Yeah, a lot of people like them. You know, federal law enforcement used to have a real big hard on for SIG 226s. Uh, yeah, yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. The Wooks furniture is pretty cool. Hey, Patriot Arms, are you gonna do? I assume you're gonna do your lives later. Oh, I'm just showing off my water gun collection. Just a conversation for a live. P10s are decent. They're they're affordable. Definitely in an affordable range. Would you try a 50 cal pistol? Like what, a 50 Action Express or a 50 BMG? You have to be a little more specific. Appreciate that, Pewee. Make sure you double tap that screen for all you, as a matter of fact. If you guys are hanging out here and you haven't done so already, double tap that screen. That's always a big help. It's kind of, when you double tap the screen, that's a big middle finger to YouTube. Because that's their passion, is suppressing content. So when you go on anybody's channel or you see a gun channel, shorts or whatever, make sure you double tap that screen, put a like on it, because what you're doing with that is a big middle finger to YouTube. Off to the gulag. You'll be taking a warm shower. Have you seen the new 2026? Yes, we did see that, as a matter of fact. That's the, yeah, pull that up. That's their version or their take on the 2011. I like it. I don't know if I would buy it, but I do like it. So that's a gun I built. That's a Viking Combat Slide on a Olympic Arms receiver. I don't even think them receivers are made anymore. Them are probably long extinct. That dates back to maybe 2008, 2006, somewhere in there. I built that. I haven't heard from him. I haven't really tried to contact him. I hung out with him at GunCon. I think we broke him. So guys, this is the truth with not a sponsor. I think my son and I broke him. So this is the story, right? We went and we were getting some food. We left, and then he met us. It was at a Walmart. We were at Subway, and he came in while we were ordering food, and I'm like, "Ooh, look, cookies!" And I asked my kid if he wanted one. I asked not a sponsor if he wanted one, and not a sponsor was like, "Oh, them are good. I'd eat two." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I ordered a cookie with my meal. I got 2 cookies, and my son got 2 cookies with his meal. We went and sat down. We were eating. They're like, "All right, here you go. Not a sponsor. I have a cookie." And he's like, "No, I don't want a cookie." I'm like, "You just said you were gonna eat a cookie." And he's like, oh, all right. So he ate a cookie. And my son handed him his cookie. And he goes, I don't want 2 cookies. He's like, you just said you wanted 2 cookies. So we'd be insulted if you didn't eat the cookies. So he ate the cookies. And then he asked if they were roofied. So absolutely they're roofied, but don't worry, we ate them too. We're all going to be roofied together. That made him a little weird. And then we were joking around because somebody brought up while we were out there about him getting his 1,000 subscribers. And I've been joking around that when he got his 1,000 subscribers, he'd been telling people he was going to shoot a Taylor Swift poster. And I started telling people he was going to be wearing fishnet stockings and high heels. And while we were sitting there talking, we started pulling pictures up of high heels and fishnet stockings. And I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was the fishnet stockings and high heels or the cookies or all of it together, but I think we broke. Not a sponsor. Guys, it's our fault. I take full responsibility. Until he tells us something different, it was probably my fault. But he was a really cool guy. Funny as hell. I was honored to be able to meet him and hang out with him. But I mean, he was like partially into the fishnet stockings. I'm not gonna lie. When it was time for us to leave, he asked us if we wanted to go look at stockings with him at Walmart, and I'm like, no, we're not gonna go look at stockings because I did think about it. Like, okay, let's go in on these stockings, you know. So it was probably our fault. We probably broke him or at least didn't help the situation. But him and I did talk about some other stuff, and he'll be back at some point and he can explain all that to you. It's not my place to repeat it. It's not my place to say it. But I'll leave this with that. He is a really cool shit. He was fun to hang out with. So that's about where we'll leave that. Jose, yeah, there's 2 43Xs on the table. It could have been the roofies and the cookies, but we ate them too. We were all drugged together. I told him it's not bad if we're crying together. Let's see. Ramadi, I don't know what you're saying. It makes no sense to me in English. Did you check out the new Smith & Wesson steel frame spec V? No, but a few other people have been talking about it. Again, I haven't seen one in person. I haven't handled one. I don't know. Well, we're about to look at a picture of one. Kid's going to pull it up. Yeah. 50 BMG is a big gun. You know, that's... People, you know, it's funny how many people will talk shit to me in videos about that optic, how the optic's cheap trash, and, you know, I should buy an optic for the right. That's the Leupold Mark IV. That's the optic that was designed for that rifle, you know. But people look at it and I had one guy give me shit because I used a little bitty Amazon optic. Like, what are you talking about? You know, it's a large firearm.
Oh, it looks like it's Shadow Systems, pretty much.
Let's see. Well, that's like just their pro.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen videos of this. I take that back. My favorite CZ is probably the Checkmate. You should put the TLR 7 and a Holosun on it. I'm not going to use Holosun. That's I would put a Vortex on it. Vortex is in my state, and they sponsor a lot of different competitions, either stage sponsors, prize table sponsors, or straight up sponsor. I'm from Borneo. I'm not sure where that is. My thoughts on a 300 Blackout. 300 Blackout has a place. It's not anything that's ever going to be replaced. It's here. It's going to stick around. There's a lot of improvement, especially now with suppressors and barrels. You're going to see a lot of improvement in a lot of firearms and ballistics. Hey, can I get an opinion? I'm just put 1,700 down for PTR 9C MP5 clone. They never ordered it. Got back orders. Should I? If you were paying $1,900, you were or 1,700. What did that say? I already lost that comment. Let's see. $1,700 for PTR is way too much. And if you're willing to spend $2,400, then you should go ahead and get the HK. Otherwise, look around a little bit. Look on Gunbroker. You'll be able to find one a lot less than that. You were $1,700. You were getting ripped off. Beautiful collection, no question. I appreciate that, Charlie. Double tap that screen. Don't be afraid to do that. Are those depleted uranium 550 BMG rounds? I see. No, no. What do you think about the FN 509? The 509 is a decent gun. I like the was it the 545, the 45 version of it. I won't lie, I do like that. I think it's a 545.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the 510, the 10 millimeter version too. I like all three of them. Even the PTRs you can find less than $1,700. Kind of depends what you want to see. Right now, I'll be honest too. Now might not really be the time to buy a firearm. If you guys are looking for firearms, my recommendation, if it's provided it's not like a standard pistol, right? If you're looking for something like that PTR or an MP5 clone or a rifle, give it a year. Just wait a year. You are not going to be able to find something that's not SBR and come with a can. Most of it's probably going to be internally suppressed, which is the way to go. There'll still be the guns that are illegal in freedom restricted states, but it's going to be next to impossible in a few years to find a standard configuration AR-15. Everything's going to have an internal suppressor, and everything's going to end up being some sort of an SBR with probably an internal suppressor, an integral suppressor. My opinion, I can just say that, kind of like what happened after the assault weapons ban. Considering it's not going to cost you any extra to get the gun, you're just going to maybe have to wait a little more time, which I'm not even sure you're going to have to wait any more time. The registry, that's pretty fucking gay. But that, for me, it wouldn't be a deal breaker. Roland, I appreciate it. Seeing this short with the Banshee 12 shotgun suppressor, but can't find any info. I'm going to drag my feet for a little bit and see if it's getting released soon. We saw it. We shot it. That was what we shot on the Benelli M4, and we shot a Browning with it. I don't know if we put videos out of it, but we did. We did shoot that suppressor. We were shooting the Caldwell, like Claybird thrower. Yeah, that. My assumption is that's how most firearms are going to end up. Yeah, the suppressor. That's what it was, wasn't it? Banshee 12? I think so.
I'm pretty sure. Or Banish 12?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's what it was. They had two different versions. They had a shorter version, a longer version. One was on the shorter version was on the Browning, and the longer one was on the M4. Gage and I both tried shooting Claybirds with that M4, and we were not successful. We were not successful with that at all. But with the Browning, we whacked them. So I think first time picking that gun up, I got 2 for 3, and he got 1 for 3.
1 for 3.
1 for 3.
First time I've been shooting at Claybirds.
So, but the Brown was a sweet shotgun. I'm not even sure what model it was.
I have no clue.
And in Benelli's defense, it was their standard M4, so it had the collapsible stock and pistol grip. And then it had the rifle sights on there. Not exactly a clay gun, you know what I mean? Um, the Browning though, that thing would, I that was pretty nice shooting gun. Which was funny because when we had him throw clay pigeons, the guy was surprised we were asking him to throw clay pigeons with it because everybody else was just shooting the Benelli M4 at the ground. And I wanted to try to hit something with it. Give me an opportunity to shoot a moving target. I'm going to take that opportunity. Them clay pigeon throwers were kind of cool too. Have you checked them out, Orange Smoke? I could see you and your kid getting into that. They were a little hard to get tracking on because they flew different. Um, but they were interesting. They were really interesting design. I never looked up the price on them. You want to pull them up?
You know what?
The Caldwin clay pigeon thrower. Curious more how much the pigeons for it were. I bet they're a little pricey, but they were cool. They were cool. Patriot, are you gonna do a live later? Your normal time?
$200 for a thrower.
$200 for the thrower. Well, yeah, they were full power loads. Like I said, the M4 had the longer one on. It was a little gassy. I got gas back in my face, but I'm left-handed, so the gun was, you usually do get more gas in your face. The Browning one was the shorter version, and I didn't get any gas from that one. But full power loads, they both cycled just fine. Definitely see a purpose and a place for having them. So it'll be nice when.
That looks like $13. So
How many are in a pack? Probably 20 or 25.
probably, if I were to guess.
I would guess probably 25, but we'll see.
I can't tell. Maybe 10?
Yeah, they were flat on top.
Oh, it says 50 pack.
It's
Well,
50
they
pack.
are only like this thick, though.
Yeah, I suppose.
Alright.
There was a company too, and I'd have to go back and watch our footage. And even Patriot might know too, but there was a guy out there with the what is it? The UTOS 12. That's the pump action shotgun with double barrels. There's a company out there making a suppressor for that too. I forget the name of the company off the top of my head. We'd have to go back and look at the footage. That would be pretty cool too. The UTOS 12, that's the one where you get the 2 barrels, you cock it once, and then you get 2 shots. That was a very industrial comp too, held together with, machine screws, flat milled surfaces. So I like that type of stuff, the actual machining end of it. So. Yeah, just think about it. So let me ask you guys, since you're all here, does the registration bother you guys for this NFA shit? Will you go? Stop. Get off under the fucking camera, dog. Why you gotta do that? So you do it just to be a pain in the ass. So I would prefer not to have to do extra registration, but that's not a deal breaker for me. It doesn't really matter. If I can go in, fill out a 4473 and a Form 3 or whatever it is, that wouldn't bother me at all. Yeah, well, it's a good start that the tax is gone. That's like a huge hurdle. So nobody wants to have registered firearms. Again, for me, it doesn't matter. It's not a concern one way or another. I could see maybe somebody that doesn't already own firearms having a bigger problem with it. Like, hey, I'm going to go buy my first gun, and I don't want it to be on a registration. But Pistol Pete, what's going on? How are you doing, man? Good to see you. But yeah, we'll see if GOA is successful or not. I mean, they they kind of set the stage for being able to win. So tax stamps are gay. I agree. But again, like I said, at least dude, that's probably the biggest change to firearm law since one, the assault weapons ban was created, and then two, since the assault weapons ban went away. It's time. Hello, everybody. Pistol Pete. Just bought a Taurus G3. Any thoughts? I have no thoughts on a G3. I've never shot one. I've never held one. I don't know if I've ever even seen one fired in person. So I would have nothing positive nor nothing negative to say because I have zero experience with it. Yeah, Pistol Pete was there, man. We met Pistol Pete. I creeped up on him. He had his back to us, and I creeped up, and I got my arm wrapped around him and embraced him and pulled him in real close, and he got a little uncomfortable about that, but we definitely did. We met him. He's cool shit. So everything's still gonna have a stamp, right? It's still a federally regulated item that needs NFA paperwork. What they did is they made it so you don't have to pay the $200 price for it, which is nice because even if I have to leave something sit in jail for a while, that's not as big of a deal as sitting there with a check sitting out there in an account, never knowing when they're going to cash it. That bothered me. I didn't like that. Most of the stuff now with like the silencer, what do they call it? The kiosks where you go and do your passport photo and fingerprints. I mean, this process is going to be pretty easy for a lot of people. Chanson, what's going on, man? How are you doing? Hope your day is going good. Yeah, the tax goes. I think they wanted it signed into law in like 15 days after Trump signed it is what they passed through, wasn't it? Within 15 days. So, can you interact with any guns? No, we can't handle guns on a live, unfortunately. Yeah, double barrel for the suppressor for a win. That would definitely be cool. I'm not gonna lie about that either. That was kind of cool. I've never been a fan of that Utah's 12, but I definitely could be. Not gonna lie about that either. I definitely could be. So, Chanson, what's big with you for today? Guys, be sure to do me a solid, man. If you haven't, double tap the screen. For you guys that normally aren't here and you're watching, consider subscribing to the channel, right? Double tapping the screen is just a big middle finger to anti-2A people. It's real important, if not only on my channel, but everybody else's firearms channels, that you show support. Every time you double tap it and put a like on the video, leave a comment, that's just a big middle finger to anti-gunners. That just says, we don't care what you think, be quiet. So that's important. Everybody's channel right now is struggling. The YouTube algorithms are really making it hard for people to be successful. And I myself, I was thinking about getting some fishnet stockings and heels to try and get some views, but my son advised against that. He said you would get the wrong kind of people. Barrel length on the 82. I'm not sure what the 82 is. Oh, the Barrett, it's a 29-inch barrel. Took me a second. Yeah, the M82 is a 29-inch barrel. I agree with that too. I apologize, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but yeah, people that are against firearms, they don't understand them. They don't understand the purpose of them. Lack of education. I've had a lot of people that I've known over the years that were anti-gun, and I've talked them into going out and shooting. And usually stuff like that, you get them out and you let them shoot a plate rack, and they have fun. They end up being gun people. You know, do they not?
Yeah.
You know, shooting a plate rack is a whole lot of fun. Um, yeah, that's the big one. Uh, when I was ready to buy a Barrett, you know, we looked at the 20-inch models. There's a 19-inch model out there, um, and then there's a 33-inch model. We went for the standard issue. Uh, we want the full velocity and deep penetration. So 9 inches is a lot. As all of us men know, 9 inches is a lot, and to lose that off of a 50 BMG doesn't make sense. Now, if it's just a gun you're gonna go play with, the 20-inch barrel makes a whole lot more sense because it's a heavy, heavy, heavy firearm. But if you want to poke holes and shit, and you want to shoot long range, you need that extra 9 inches. So, but yeah, what else you guys all up to? And Orange Smoke's ready to go back to work. He came to Wisconsin and never even ate a Wisconsin brat. I'm a little offended about that. You sold all your guns because SWAT came to your house on several occasions for no reason. That's interesting. Why would? Never mind. I don't know that I want to know. Although it sounds like a good, interesting story if you want to share the story.
Maybe. I mean, I've heard people getting spotted, like streamers. They get spotted a lot. All kinds of them.
AMAX on sale for $3.80. Yeah, that's for AMAX. That's a smoking deal. Usually, a box of fucking 10 is like $80 plus. Kyle, we appreciate it. Kyle, double tap that screen and subscribe to the channel. It's not worth the effort. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh, I don't even know what to say about. Hey, did you guys know? You probably never even considered it, but here you go, Orange Smoke. You know them little gummy bear things? Was it Harbo? Hasbro? The Hasbro little gummy bears. I always thought them were made in Mexico. For whatever reason, I always thought they were made in Mexico. No, they're made in Wisconsin. So it's just one more thing that we got going for us.
Yeah, we do better.
We could do better. We got cheese, beer, brats, motorcycles, lakes, gummies, you know. We know that, you know, Minnesota has Polaris. That's like what a black dude would say. I'm not gonna say it the way I want to, but Polaris me, you know. Polaris me, bro. But yeah.
Actually, I know Orange Smoke's claiming that he had the best brats there, which they might be the best ones there.
They're just made in Wisconsin.
Well, no, it's that he doesn't want to miss the Wisconsin brats and not have his taste so good to him.
Yeah. That explains why the taste second to all. Yeah. My favorite 1911 that I owned would be my Colt. Now, if money wasn't an option, and you're saying what ones would I like to own, you know, I would love to own a Wilson or an Ed Brown or a Les Bear. All three of them would be great options. The Nighthawk. Sorry,
Yeah.
the Nighthawks would be another great option. The Cabots. I mean, I think all of us would trade our firstborn for a Cabot. So. But Orange Smoke, we got EAA in a few weeks. I don't know if you're still considering that little venture.
Even if you do, we might just have to give you some brats.
Probably a 01 or a PCR would be one I would choose to carry. I like the CZ pistols for like concealed carry though in waistband. There's a lot of sharp edges on them. Now, if a person manned up and just carried the gun for a couple months, them edges would go away. But that's really the only reason I don't carry mine is I don't care to put the time into wearing it down a little bit so the sharp edges go away. Yeah, in Wausau there, right? I have the pictures. I haven't even showed Gage them yet. The P10C. I haven't seen the P10C. Uh, I've seen the full sizes, but I've never seen the compact version. I've seen pictures, but I've never seen one in person to give an opinion on it. But that's what I know. They were really nice. Looked at one yesterday. Gonna pick one up. Curious. Pull that up. See what their price range is on them.
P10.
Yeah, P10C.
Okay.
Ross offers a comp version. Did you get? Yeah, we did actually. That's really nice shooting gun. That was actually the one that I had the most interest in was their comp version. Similar size to a 19. The
MSRP of $449.
the grip on it was thinner than a 19, but it has, like I said, it's got the changeable side grips, so you could make it thicker. But it was an interesting firearm. Just discovered cowboy butter lobster tail recipe. What's cowboy butter?
Sounds like my kind of butter.
Sounds like Gage's kind of butter. Man, I might have to order an RM1C and then buy the port and slide combo for them. There you go. No, I don't have to. So like, the AK keep that wiped down. That's a blued finish. But everything else on here is something other than a blued factory finish. Stainless steel, you don't have to necessarily worry about. But like all the CZs, they have a poly coat. The Beretta is some type of finish. I don't know what it is. Glocks are, they're all a coated firearm. There's no blued steel or oxidized steel to worry about wiping off for rust. So obviously after you clean them or if you get caught in the rain, then yeah, you'd have to wipe them all down. You'd have to, make sure there's not water sitting in there somewhere. But just to wipe them off, no, they don't need to be wiped off. With the exception of the AK, because that's got blued steel. Your CZ has some blemishing on it. Did you buy it that way? Did it come blemished? So they have a pretty good warranty. Contact them.
It's my daily.
Oh, so the blemishes are from you. There's nothing wrong. Oh, there's nothing wrong with having a firearm that you use get beat up. They're supposed to. That's normal. That's acceptable. A guy who says they carry their gun every day or they use their gun all the time and it looks brand new, they're full of shit. Rubbish spam, to be fair, it's your daily. George, how are you doing? Hope your day is going good. Rubbish, your fatty tummy. You appendix carried, I take it? Yeah, it is. Biggest thing with any firearm though is, and I showed my son this, and we've talked about it. Like at gun con, we're shooting all kinds of guns and shooting really accurately. And then there's certain guns that I'd pick up that I couldn't hit anything with, and I'm not saying the next guy couldn't because they were just because you like a gun or it feels good in your hand doesn't mean you're gonna shoot it well. You have to get experience with a lot of different things, and you have to accept and come to terms that not all firearms everybody shoots equally. Some guns you'll shoot better, some guns you'll shoot worse. Some guns can be a training issue, but you know, it collects all my belly button fluff. There you go. That's okay. It just makes them run. Noticed a lot of gas stations had boiled peanuts down that way. It was like eating boiled cat turds. Not a fan. I've never had a boiled peanut, so I'm not sure.
Bad though.
Yeah, it doesn't. Well, most peanuts are boiled. I'm tired of carrying my Hellcat RDP, reliable as hell but real snappy. Yeah, that's the problem with a lot of handguns is when you get into the compact and subcompact is they're snappy. They're very snappy. That 43X, like I said, with the Radian Ramjet, that was not snappy at all. I'm not a fan of that gun, but with the Ramjet on them, I like legitimately was feeling it. It was definitely gonna build one out. Might even build two out. I don't know. But you know, it's kind of sad that you got to spend money, good money on a firearm, and then go add $400 or $500 worth of shit to it to have a great firearm. I would love to see Glock and all these other manufacturers start coming set up like that. Rubbish spam it tastes like. Oh, come on. Wisconsin brats taste better than a boiled cat turd. A couple of manufacturers we were talking to, and they said the same thing too. Like, not only with the optics cuts, but even things that are going to be coming out with factory ports or a comp that, you know, within a few years, it's going to be next to impossible to buy a firearm that isn't set up like that. That's where the market trend is going: comps, ports, and optics cuts. So, you know, some of these guys they were talking about, you know, they're not even going to be offering sights on their models anymore, which I don't know that I like, but it is what it is. Rubbish. I'm not a fan of Canics. We did put some more trigger time on one. We even went as far as we were shooting the TTI, and we were shooting the Rival S, the steel frame, and they have nice triggers, right? I'm not gonna say they don't because they have nice triggers, but it's not a firearm that I would want to own. Now, if I didn't own other firearms, maybe something about it would be appealing to me, but for what I own, it would feel like I was taking a step backwards. With the exception of the trigger, the triggers are phenomenal. I can't lie about that. They have great triggers. You know, I know a lot of people they seem to really like the Canics. It's hard to get people's opinion too because if I offered you my opinion, right? You don't know where that opinion is being based from. Is it actually being based from experience? So if I say I like Canics, I own a Canic, this is where it's at. What other firearms have I owned, and what kind of round counts have I put through them? If I've only owned a Canic and I've put a couple thousand rounds through it, of course it's going to feel like it's the best thing on earth. Now, if that's like my 100th handgun I've owned and I put 50,000 rounds through each one of these guns and I form an opinion that way, that holds a little more weight and credibility than others, you know. So it's, you never know how to take somebody's opinion. So I've never tried a Canic, but they feel like a blend of Walther and Springfield XD. Yeah, that's kind of a good way of putting it. Their grip is a little more Walther-ish. Like I said, I can't say anything bad about their triggers. Their triggers are good. Just their actual guns, it's not something that I would buy. Now, if we got a bunch of YouTube money, which could help with you guys, subscribing to the channel, right? Pushing the content. Then I might get one just to have it for comparison, but that definitely is not. I have no purpose for it, right? It's not something I would use for carry. It's not something I would use for home defense, and it's not something I would use for competition. You know, a lot of people though they seem to offer a lot. They do. You don't like the firing pin stick on the back? Yeah, I'm not a fan of that either. Their loaded chamber indicator, that's kind of gay. So, a lot of people like, and this is the same reason people like Springfield is you get a lot with the gun. You get multiple magazines, you get the holster, you get, you know, a lot of different shit with them. So it feels like you're getting a lot more bang for your buck, right? So I don't even know if Springfield still does it. Do they still include a holster and mag pouches with their guns? Years ago when we had them, they included holsters and mag pouches. Awful. I showed the old lady your shorts of Gettysburg, and now she wants to take a trip to see it. That's definitely a good trip to have. Have multiple days of being there. We weren't there long enough.
Yeah.
I think we may go back next year. It's a little early to tell. Come January, we'll figure out what we want to do for the 4th of July. But I wouldn't mind going back. There was a lot of museums and stuff that we didn't see. We spent most of our time out looking at the actual battlefields and the fighting positions, the artillery positions. I would like to go back and explore the town more. I would like to go back and explore the Gettysburg Museum, as well as all the other 100 and some museums they have there. We just didn't have time. We had a day and a half basically to spend, and you know, we spent about the half day when we first got there. We spent out there the whole time. Then the next day we spent about a half a day out there because of the heat. Where had we went to the museums, we would have been able to fill some time there, but. It was a very, very, very humbling experience. It was humbling to go to some of these places, and we're sitting there on rocks just talking, and we're pulling up pictures from them 3 days, and literally the rocks we're sitting on, they had bodies stacked on them. You know, like Devil's Den, we're looking out over at little round top, and we're like, hey man, you know, in picture like. You know, this would be a fighting position. If I were here, I'd be looking up there, and this is where I would be standing and engaging them troops. And you go up and you look down, and like, oh fuck, now I see why they were slaughtering them. And then in the exact position you're standing, saying this is where I would be. There's bodies stacked. You know, multiple people dead right there, right where we were standing, saying I would be firing from this position.
And
people were, and they were getting dropped. You know. So, very, very humbling experience, very, very surreal feeling. You know, you go look at a little bit of the battlefield, it's like, okay, this is impressive. You look at both sides, but then you start looking at like the artillery positions, and you realize the absolute hell and carnage these guys were enduring. And, I mean, 50-some thousand people dead in 3 days. You know, and these weren't like full days of fighting. There was, you know, hours of fighting. A couple little spots on the battlefield, you know, they were hotter than that, but these weren't full, you know, 72 hours worth of combat. It was like, you know, a lot less. But the hell and the carnage was incredible. You know, as you're going around, you're getting different memorials, and it's commemorating the troops that fell there. You know, you're standing at one spot and 300 dead here. You go 50 yards down the road and there's another 400 dead. You go another 50 yards down the road and there's another 200 dead. You know, and it's both sides, right? One spot is Union troops, the other side is Confederate troops, and there's 50 yards between them, and hundreds of people dead in that area. And it wasn't like this was it. No, it was that area. Very, very humbling experience. Very, very made you feel small and insignificant. You know.
Yeah, it did.
But it left a lot of questions. You know, like you knew a little bit of the history, but when you start going, okay, how and why did they end up here? You know, what brought people to Gettysburg that they wanted to fight? Well, the North was on a retreat. They just got their asses handed to them, and the South was basically looking for supplies. They set up a campaign into the North to try and get a decisive victory, so the British would and recognize them as a formal Confederate States of America. So they were trying to get a victory for that. They marched north to do a couple of things. One, they needed supplies. They needed shoes. They needed food. They were looking for that. They were also trying to create some distance so that they could send troops home and grow crops. You know, their men that would be farming were on a campaign. So they're trying to get these guys home, and they're trying to do that by having a decisive victory in the north. And when I asked, well, why Gettysburg, and guy told me, he goes, well, all the roads lead here. There's 10 major roads that come to a direct intersection in Gettysburg.
That's not even modern time.
That's not even modern times. That was then. Cooking with Love, how are you doing, man? I'm glad you're here. So you start looking at that, and then some of the generals and stuff that were there that were northern, they grew up there. So you start looking at the ground that they chose and the areas they picked to fight. You can see why they didn't win. They were fighting an uphill battle the whole way. They didn't have the high ground. They never acquired the high ground, and they lost before they even started. But really, really humbling experience. Really, you know, the size of it, it was like, what was it, 17.7 miles squared of a battlefield. So, you know, 17 miles of a fighting area these guys were in. And, you know, very humbling.
Yeah.
You know, 3 days of fighting, 50-some thousand people killed there. Not like you went home and you died in infection. No, they dropped dead right there on the battlefield. 50-some thousand people in 3 days. You know, for comparison, in Vietnam, we lost, what was it, 58,000, 57,000 people in a, you know, what was that, a 6-year war, 8-year war?
Mm-hmm.
Not even. Yeah, I guess it was early, mid-60s when we started our ship, but
that was a 3-day battle.
That was a 3-day battle.
Realistically, it's probably close to 100,000 that ended up dead from that.
It's over Enkin. I have high ground. Yeah, you gotta have the high ground, man. You know. And in hindsight too, you know, they were outnumbered. The Southern soldiers were outnumbered. There was, what was there, like 90-some thousand Union troops to 70-some thousand Confederate troops. I think is what the numbers were, right about there, somewhere right in there.
Like 77,000.
But you know, still both sides, they were slaughtered, man. It was. Yeah, I couldn't even imagine it. But like I said, when you start looking at the positions, you start looking at the fighting positions, you start looking at the artillery, you start looking at the maps to see, you know, what days they were advancing, retreating, what ground they gained, what ground they lost. You know, my heart went out to both sides. My heart went out to both sides because good, bad, right, wrong, whatever the reasons they were for fighting there, these were Americans. And they were American people that felt so strongly in their beliefs and their will and their commitment to not being suppressed or being told how to live their life that they picked up arms and they fought. It's fucked up, but at the end of the day, you know, it's America. You pick up a firearm and fight if that's what you believe in. And it's impressive that these people made that ultimate sacrifice there, and that, you know, not only did it not end the war, I mean, the war went on for another 2 years, but it was a turning point in the war, you know. It was even interesting to find out, like, after the battle, most of the northern troops, they were either buried in mass graves. They were exhumed and then moved to a cemetery. The southern troops, the Confederate States of American troops, they laid there rotting in fields for years and years and years. You know, they were showing pictures of hogs out in a field walking around with a dead soldier's arm that had died 4 years earlier. You know, they were buried right there. You know, most of them ended up being buried in mass graves or a grave directly next to where they fell. But they were left lay there on the battlefield for a decade, you know. They eventually started exhuming them and sending them back south. But, you know, can you imagine, you know, you bury your dead, but, you know, the 30,000 or 20,000 Confederate soldiers that died, you left lay right there and rot. And then the number, you know, this is outside of a town, so that you can't even imagine the smell. You know, pretty impressive.
And from all sides of the town too.
Yeah, from all sides. You know. But by any means, if you guys ever have an opportunity to go, you know, it's not Six Flags Great America. You're not going to be hooting and hollering and cheery, but you're going to be very humbled.
Yeah, we were going there joking around.
We looked for some ghosts. I'm not going to lie. Uh, we did go look for ghosts. We didn't see any. Um, there was a lot of like energy you could feel. There was places where you definitely weren't welcome,
Yeah.
and then there was places where you were didn't seem to like not be welcome, and then there was places where there was like no energy.
Yeah.
You know.
But yeah, it's like you're not exactly welcome. It's like you're not meant to be here, but you can.
But it was definitely a very interesting experience. I was surprised. One thing that really surprised us was the lack of people that were actually out looking at the battlefields. I mean, in town, it was a lot going on. A lot of people out walking around and moving and in and out of the museums. But when you actually got out to the battlefields, there was virtually nobody out there.
The only main place I saw was like Little Round Top that had a lot of people.
Little Round Top had a lot of people, but most of the other areas were like virtually empty. Like big areas, we were the only ones there. You know, it was cool because you not only see what you saw from the little roads that they had paved, but you could get out and go wherever you wanted. You go walk through the field and go look at the fighting positions, which we did. You know, wanting a Barrett pretty bad. Yeah, it's definitely a bucket list gun for a lot of people. Just make sure if you ever make the commitment to buy it, you have a place to shoot it, because a lot of places don't let you shoot them. Nope, we didn't check out any museums. So we, like I said, we spent the time going to the battlefield and looking at all them in the memorials, the fighting positions, going up, looking at like Little Round Top, looking down at Devil's Den, you know, looking at a bunch of the field hospitals. If and when we go back, which we probably will this coming year, will be. I smell dope. Who the fuck is outside smoking dope?
I don't see the neighbor, so it's probably.
I'm gonna smell it. Go tell them we smell their fucking dope. It's stinking up our fucking house. Fucking sitting in my house and I can smell the neighbors fucking smoking weed.
Oh, that's probably in their house too.
That's fantastic. Go
probably
see.
Open their window.
Yeah, but we didn't check out any museums. Next year, so it's the 250th anniversary of the American, so was it Centennial, I think it is. They're supposed to have the largest reenactments ever. They're also supposed to, they're supposed to also have all the museums there are supposed to be open free of charge for the anniversary of the battle, along with the Centennial, I think is what it's called. 250-year Centennial of America. True, go get a bite. No, I'm not gonna go smoke dope.
No, it's not them, so I don't know where it's coming from then.
Seen a pic online of a cannon with a stuck round ball in it. That's another cannon. Yeah, it's cool thing is like a lot of the artillery and shit is still in the original position. Now I'm sure that they were moved after the battle and they've been brought back.
But you can see the exact placement.
But you can see where the placements were.
And how they were placed.
You know. Wake and Bake stopped snoring and went to investigate. Yeah, he's looking for the dope. Probably not as much as you think. So I think here at quarter after so in 2 minutes we'll shut this down. I gotta go fire up the grill. Go make some hamburgers. Maybe I'll send Orange Smoke a picture of how to make a proper grilled burger, Wisconsin style. Which is just like everybody else, you burn it to a crisp. But if you guys haven't, man, consider double tapping the screen. That's a big middle finger to anti-gunners out there. Consider subscribing to the channel. I appreciate new subscribers always. Please absolutely consider checking out the shorts. If you want to do the super chat or donate, you can absolutely do that on the channel. We'll always accept that. That makes things possible that we do. So, well done or not, it's good. Patriot Arms, are you gonna do your live at normal time? I asked you that a couple times. So I'll catch you. If you are, I'll catch you for a few minutes, but I'm back to work on Monday, so back to waking up early. But Orange Smoke, as always, I appreciate you being here. Patriot Arms, I appreciate you. Godfather, J-Dog, Stifler was here. Ammo, Big O was here. Mike was here. Mason was here. Man, I always try to remember who at the end here was all here. Cooking was here. Gotta remember Cooking. I'm missing a whole bunch of you guys. Huh?
Did you say Mike?
I said Mike. Okay. Even Utah Dad showed up for a minute. So with that, gentlemen, ladies, things, I appreciate your support, appreciate your time. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys another time.